So Vibe magazine just announced that it's partnering with Rolling Stone. Are we supporting this or no? How do you guys feel about the legendary Black, it is one of the Black staple magazines and platforms, Vibe magazine, becoming a part of Rolling Stone? And when I say becoming a part of Rolling Stone, what I mean is Billboard announced this week that Rolling Stone will be joining forces with Vibe. Now, Vibe will bolster Rolling Stone's hip hop coverage and allow the brand to go deeper into the genre. Vibe will also print special collector's editions of the magazine and launch a new interview series that spotlights in-depth conversations with the most important figures, ranging from musicians to superstar athletes and fashion icons. Now, the CEO of Rolling Stone said, "We are thrilled to announce that Vibe is joining forces with Rolling Stone. This historical team-up will enable Rolling Stone to level up the publication's hip-hop and R&B coverage, allowing Rolling Stone to dive deeper into the culture. As a part of this move, Rolling Stone will invest in Vibe across video, podcasts, long-form journalism, social media, and experiential opportunities, all areas where Rolling Stone is a market leader. Vibe will continue to power cultural conversations and reestablish itself as a driving force for commentary and reporting. Our goal," the CEO continues, "is to continue the mission that Vibe was founded on while leveraging Rolling Stone to amplify its presence across all platforms." So essentially what is happening here is like when, for instance, when an entrepreneur creates a product, builds that product up. Rihanna and Fenty. Well, it's a little different because, Rihanna's Rihanna, but builds that product up and away, and then decides to partner with a bigger, kind of like almost like a distribution deal for a music artist. You decide to partner with a a company, a platform, a home that has more resources readily available, has more, financial resources readily available, so that you're able to then take what you built and not just make it bigger, but scale it better as far as, what you're outputting. So to me, there's two folds of this. On one hand, the first thing I thought of when I saw this was, why is Rolling Stone in Black people business? And I get it. Outlets like Rolling Stone, I mean, they cover Black people, Black talent. That's a thing. But historically, we know that those outlets, the Vibes, the Ebonies, the Jets, the Essence magazines, those outlets, they're ours, right? I mean, but you do have the fact that like BET, which is, Black Entertainment Television, is under Paramount. And, at one point it was Viacom, and those are not Black companies. But I don't know, this felt a little different, and maybe because it is editorial, maybe because it is, the conversation around Vibe is just, I don't know, it's just different. And to be really honest with you guys as well, prior to this, I don't know much about Vibe's partnerships and, who they were working with, who they weren't working with. But this was just loud. It was big. It was everywhere when it dropped, because Rolling Stone is such a, it's such a relevant brand in pop culture. So that was the first thing I thought. And then I read a little bit more. Oh, and also I started seeing, there were a few journalists that I follow that once this announcement came out, they posted tweets like, "Hey, today is my last day with Vibe magazine because of the Rolling Stone Vibe merger." And I mean, I didn't see anything bad from them. But I did see that as well. So that was my first thought. And then I'm on my timeline on X, and all I see are journalists, because some of these people I don't know. I just follow because they tweet out the stories that they cover, or, they're tweeting different news, and I follow news everywhere. That's just what I do. But I'm seeing like, I mean like a influx of, because of the Vibe and Rolling Stone merger, because of the Vibe and Rolling Stone merger, over and over and over again, I now no longer have my job. Thank you for the 3 years of this. And you could tell that, people were keeping it super like, it's nothing we could do. We was laid off. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, ooh, ouch. Wow. Okay. So that made me to be like, am I supposed to be apprehensive about this? Am I supposed to be happy for Vibe magazine about this? People are losing their job. It feels like Vibe is about to be gentrified. Like, what is going on here? And I come from, working with major outlets. Before TMZ, I worked in a fashion closet at Cosmopolitan magazine. Like, I've only ever known outlets that were not Black centered, but had to be inclusive because they just had to be. And it's just different. Like now, working with the Breakfast Club and being here on the Black Effect Podcast Network, it's different when you're at something that is for us, by us. And even if not like fully owned, right? Because Breakfast Club is a iHeart, show. It's Black focused and Black centric, and I work with Black people. It's very different than anything I've ever experienced in my work career, my work life. So it made me think about what the new tone in the work energy at Vibe will be. And I started thinking about that because that tone and that energy and that culture will pour out and will reflect in the content that they put out. And I think with the way that the landscape is changing in media and what's important and how people are digesting news and opinion and what they care about, people got to really believe it to even want to support. And I think those legacy magazines, I've always wondered what's the fix for them. I think Essence magazine has definitely figured out how to reinvent their voice a bit. Like I love it when they do the thread breakdowns whenever something happens. Like you can always count on that, whether it's on Twitter or it's a swipe through on Instagram. Their social media team really stepped it up. Their covers really stepped it up. And I don't mean stepped it up in a way of like they weren't ever good. I mean, as a legacy media outlet, when in times where things are changing, you gotta reinvent. You gotta connect and reach people differently, especially today, because there's somebody right now at this very moment turning on their camera on their phone, about to post a video with an opinion or reporting of something that can potentially go viral and become the number one outlet of whatever genre that is. And all they did was turn on their phone. Meanwhile, you have full, editorial teams at places like Vibe, Jet, Ebony, all of these Essence, all these places, and they now have to compete with that person. Things are just different now. So I've always thought, like, what is the answer for our legacy magazines? Because with me, I want to be in that middle space. I always want to understand that middle space of like, okay, here's all the fly stuff that our legacy magazines were known for. Here's where everything is now. Here's, what the focus of news should be. And here's how you bring it all together. I've always, like, that's always been like my vision for content of like, what was being done before us that stuck and made these really big careers, whether it's actors, journalists, reporters, personality, with where are things now and how do we mesh that together? So on the other side, I say all that to say, on the other side, when I saw this, I was like, okay, Vibe magazine can now, I don't know, maybe it's I don't know what the issues were internally that made them feel like they needed this merger. But and I'm sure, there'll be more coming out on that. But now they can hire more people, but dang, people lost their jobs. Now Vibe can be a part of the conversation, potentially, because it still matters what you put out. But, now Vibe has a large platform partner who can position their content in a way where it reaches more eyes. And then I started to think like, but do we want it to reach all those eyes? Like, why can't we gatekeep what's ours and it still be just as big and as effective and as golden? Like, why not? Like the gentrification conversation. Like, why do our neighborhoods have to be gentrified for the price to go up? That's how I thought about this. It's like a catch-22 of like, I want, us to be able to get the resources we need, move on, do better in business. And you gotta partner with where the business, the money, and the doing better is happening. Black, white, green, yellow. Doesn't matter, the color of the person or the people or the company doing it. Business is business. But I don't know. It just I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. Because as a businesswoman, I understand and I'm like, oh, that was kind of smart for them. And not even just for them. It was smart for Rolling Stone. Because I think one of the best things that a company can do, right, who doesn't understand something, is go and hire somebody who do. And hiring a Black writer or two or three or five doesn't make you like, yes, Rolling Stone magazine has a prestige to it, but with Black culture leads media trend, all of the things, period. You need a real strong force in trust. You need brand identity and trust in that area to be able to be a part of that conversation in a real way. And obviously Rolling Stone was like, okay, we cover, black music, black things, but we want they wanted more validity and more trust for whatever their reasoning was too. So and I mean now it's Vibe. We trust Vibe. We've seen Vibe. We've grew up on Vibe. We've grew up reading Vibe. So it's going to be there. Or is it? I don't need y'all to answer these questions for me. Was this a great business move by Vibe magazine? Yes or no? And again, I'm not even, I mean, I guess you do got to talk about like business as far as like numbers and things, right? Like, you know, where does this put them budget wise, per quarter, per year to be able to put out products and projects and all these things. But I would even ask the question just simply as a consumer of media, because it was a shock for me to see Vibe partnering with Rolling Stone. And I think it's because our legacy magazines have always stood on, we gonna figure this out. We got it. We cool. We gonna figure this out. But hey, maybe that's why, it's been so hard for a lot of our legacy magazines to take the forefront of conversation the way that they did some years ago. Let me know how y'all feeling. I want to know. Was it a good idea? Was it not a good idea? Were you shocked when you saw the news? Will you continue to support Vibe and what they do? I honestly don't see a reason for us not to. I think it was a shock. And I was trying to figure out, like, am I supposed to like this? Like, what is happening? Is this an Ari collab? Just yay, business? Or, girl, you losing your black card because you support it? But at the same time, I mean, I think people's feelings are valid because, like I told you, I was watching. It was like a mass exodus of people talking about they lost their jobs. And I'm like, well, why y'all getting rid of the people? The black people saying they ain't got no jobs. It's supposed to help the people get the jobs. Let me know what y'all think.